Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host.
Grandma Gail.
Live from New York City.
Live from New York, the city that never sleeps. Kim, we had some really good days here together, but I'm going to air some complaints after we talk about what we've done, because I've really become a critic now of New York, and I want somebody to listen to me.
First in New York City, you came down a day earlier than I did, saw your friends and did your appointments. And then I came down and right away we did somebody else's podcast, Lindsay Metzelar, who has the podcast We Met at Acme, which is about New York City dating. We went downtown to
Chinatown. Which was so much fun, because I remember years ago walking the streets with my mother and then eating dim sum down there, and it brought back a lot of memories.
Well, we were walking around, you're like, this is where we used to get our fake watches, our fake bags and stuff. And I was like,
I think they're still selling them. They were dying to sell them to us yesterday.
They were running after us asking to buy their bags, but we did not do that. But we had a good podcast with her. That was fun to do someone else's and be in like a studio. And then that night we went to see a Broadway show. We saw Some Like It Hot,
which I thought was terrific.
Yeah, I thought it was good as well. We both loved the film.
I liked some of the film was great,
which was like a 50s or 60s movie
with Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis
and Marilyn Monroe. So we love that movie. The musical was a little bit different, but more or less the same storyline. They definitely made it more modern with like some transgender identity stuff in there. But it was really cute and heartwarming. We thought the music was fine.
The music was good. I thought the dancing was spectacular.
Yeah.
The tap dancing was really, they were very talented dancers.
I always am like, why do I not tap dance? But it's not of lack of trying. Like we did.
It's very hard.
Well, we put me in tap lessons
when you were very little.
Yeah, but probably for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I think you were Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse.
I was Minnie Mouse for something.
I loved your costume. Your costume was better than the way you danced.
Yeah, probably true. What was that called? Tap. I don't know, because I feel like I know a lot of girls who I'm still friendly with who actually did that as well.
Nobody became a movie star.
No. Actually, some person's like a singer, I think, but I guess not a tap dancer. Anyway, we thought that show was good.
The show was great, but Times Square is a mess.
Yeah.
A mess. I mean, I don't know what we can do to fix it. It's crawling with all those characters who are
scary.
They're not scary. They're just annoying.
I never liked characters, even at Disney World. They scare me because I know that there is a human inside of there sweating their balls off.
Well, they're looking to get money, but to take a picture with you. That's the whole point.
Yeah, it's like a seedy, and like I know that the motivation is not what it seems to be.
Well, it wasn't. It was originally, I think, it's supposed to be cute and people walking around identifying with Disney characters.
Yeah.
But then it became really bad.
No.
So, but beside them, the whole area got dirty, and
it's not a new thing that Times Square is like this. I mean, maybe you haven't been much, but at least the last 5 years.
Well, for 3 years it was closed, so we didn't have any of it. Before COVID started, because the theaters were all closed, I don't think anybody really went to Times Square. Maybe a few people, but it wasn't there was no business there.
Yeah, but
now
it's been all open for
back
probably like a little over a year maybe.
Yeah.
And so I guess I've gone to maybe 3 or 4 shows since it's open.
Last time was my first Broadway show.
Since COVID? Oh, wow. Yeah. So I don't know. For as long as I can remember in recent history, it's pretty much the same. You don't want to necessarily walk through there unless you're going to a show.
I used to go all the time by myself, even to theater. I used to take my car, park in a parking lot, walk to the theater. I never thought about it as a single woman. Now, last night, I even said to you, there's no way that I would go here by myself.
Yeah.
It just, it's gotten really sleazy. But anyway, the show was great. We enjoyed it. Of course, somebody recognized the two of us with our masks on. They recognized us, which was so funny. And but
it's probably the way we were like yelling at each other. No. Like just talking. Maybe they recognized our voices.
Well, they were behind us, so either that or they recognized
the back of our heads. Exactly. Yeah, that was fun. I always like when people say hi, and we had a good night, and then we recorded some podcasts, filmed some videos, And then you're headed back to Florida, and I'm staying in New York for a week or so.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous because there really is so much going on in the city. And I'm really not going over. I wanted to go over to the Met Museum and see the show that's there. I really didn't have enough time because I was so busy running back and forth.
I know. I feel like I always think I have nothing to do, and then I'm like, oh, wait, I'm busy every night for the next 2 weeks.
Exactly. That's exactly correct.
The thing for me, though, is I just feel like nights go up quickly because most people I know are like in their offices all day. So then it's like you have to book them out farther in advance. It's not like you could see everybody in one day. Like you have one night for one person. So it's like always a little hard to schedule, whereas I feel like you can just have lunch with one of your friends, you can make an activity with them, you can kind of like do more.
Well, I did do that. I did see two old friends this week. We went to a delicious little French bistro on 63rd Street, which I love, and I had my mustard chicken, which is the best little chicken in the world, and there's a truck on the street on 63rd Street that I also took out food from. So it's the most fabulous little block if you feel like walking by and getting a sandwich or anything from that truck. He's terrific. But the restaurant was great. We had a wonderful lunch. I played cards one day with some friends. I saw some people I haven't seen in like 3 months, so that was fun. But I actually am going back to Florida, and tomorrow night I'm going to a wedding reception. So we had this on our...
Of a older couple, right? Not someone...
Not both of them are an old. One is the man is a little older than the woman.
But they're not 30.
No, they're not 30.
Yeah.
This is not their... It's actually her first marriage.
Oh.
It's her first marriage, but not his.
Okay.
It's his second. But they said in the invitation, wear something sparkly. So I've been going through my closet looking for something sparkly that isn't like 30 years old, and I really I'm hard pressed to find anything that I love that much.
I know. I think I really only have one sparkly item in my closet.
When somebody puts a dress code on an invitation, I panic. I don't know why, but I get so frustrated, and I end up never doing the right thing. But now I found a sparkly sweater. It's all right. Would I wear it? I don't think I've worn it in 6 years.
Yeah.
But I'm giving it a retrospective. It's going on, and I hope it suffices because I couldn't find anything else. I really wanted to get a dress with lots of sparkles on it, but I don't have one.
I think it's easier when parties set a theme because then
You do?
Yeah, because then you feel like everyone's kind of on the same level versus like I'm like, oh, I just wore whatever was in my closet, and then someone looks like really cool, and I'm like, oh, why
now
didn't...
everybody's going to not look cool.
Yeah, I guess.
Now everybody is not looking cool. And then I also have a luncheon coming up that they told me to wear either pink or green. So now I'm honestly, I'm like so frustrated, but I do think I have an ugly green dress. I'm just going to put it on. But it's so funny. I have I have yellow. I have
You do
wine
wear a lot
color.
of color.
I have things in my closet down in Florida that are colorful, but somehow it's never the right color. So
Right.
I don't know what to do anymore. It'd be easier if they just say a white party. White is good.
I'm sick of white parties.
Oh, right.
I feel like I've gone to like 5. Any
Yes, you have,
any
actually.
other theme but a white party, I'm good with. So
All right, so that's my week this week. So I'm sort of looking forward to all these events.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
I'm
And I'll
going
give
to-
you a review of my my outfits.
yes, let me know. I'm going to a random party tonight. I'm going to stop by. I don't know. Someone like invited me on Instagram, and I'm bringing my friend. But we have a lot of mutual friends. I think it'll be fine.
Okay, all right. Well, just be careful, have fun.
I have no
and
idea what to wear though, because it's raining.
Well, I would say you're going to wear pants and a sweater because it's really not
Is that
a very
like-
pretty day here.
Yeah, I guess
Or
that's what
boots and a dress. You could always wear high boots if you have.
I'll deal with it later.
Right.
And then, yeah, I'm in New York for a week or so, and then I'm going to Sundance, the film festival in Utah for the weekend.
That's going to be so. Now, where in Utah is Sundance exactly?
It's like both in Park City and
Oh.
Salt Lake City, I think.
So you could go see the Tabernacle Choir, the church there that's so fabulous in Salt Lake City.
I don't think we're going to be near there. I think
Oh.
we're more in like the mountains.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that far. I think if the girls go skiing and the guys go skiing, you could go take an Uber and go into town and really see that. It's really a wonder.
Maybe. I'm hoping to see a film or two. It was very hard to like get tickets online. I kept refreshing. I don't know. I got something, so we'll
right.
see.
All right.
And I mean, I got to pack warm
Oh,
clothes.
I looked up the weather this morning because I had nothing to do early this morning. In Utah, next weekend, the high is going to be 31. But they say sunny, but it's going to be cold. So you have to layer.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what
Well,
you
all
take.
I've been ordering online is like warm clothes stuff since we've been in Florida. And we posted this video on TikTok and Instagram where we're going through stuff that I ordered from Revolve.
Right.
And there was this green dress that I tried on that grandma hated right away. But I've never seen so many overwhelming comments of you guys saying that you loved it and how good it looked. So I reordered it.
She's such a creature of your telling her what to do. This top on her looked awful, but we'll see if it's a size smaller. Maybe it won't be as
or
bad.
maybe we can take it in a little. I don't know. I've never gotten so many comments saying something looked good. So
Well,
I was
the color was very pretty.
Yeah.
See, people fall in love with the color.
Yes.
But they don't look at how the dress actually looks. So I
Right.
think you're going to have to rethink this whole outfit.
Right. 1 or 2 podcast episodes ago, we were talking about wedding registries because my family friend was saying they didn't know what to put on their registry since they already live together.
And we asked for suggestions from all of you to help us tell them. So let's see, Kim, what were the responses you got?
A lot of people actually said that they've seen couples want to give gifts towards their honeymoon fund.
Really?
Yes, or specific outings on their honeymoon.
So then I think a check. I think then you have to give a check. You can't pay for a dinner on your honeymoon, so you have to give them some kind of money, in a gift card. Then that seems to be what a lot of people would like to do, and I actually agree with them.
And a lot of people said that they also do like experiences, like a staycation at a hotel or a gift certificate to a nice restaurant, like activities that you could do with the person.
Okay, well, I don't know if that's so good, but all right.
And some people were saying, you could still, even if you have things together, you could still kind of do nicer items or accessories. Like maybe it's a frame or maybe it's
That's what I think.
cheese fondue pot or something like a set of sterling.
I think a little what we said last week, which I happen to think is the right answer, is go one step higher. In other words, you've got a whole thing in your apartment of glassware and dishes, but you don't have the party type. So, register for something that you might use 10 years from now for a dress up occasion or for, a more formal time of your lives.
Mm-hmm. But there were also a lot of people saying that they don't like the idea of giving a check, that seems like
impersonal, I guess. Well,
impersonal, or they're just put off by that. Like, come celebrate us and our union. And by the way, like, we want cash.
No. I don't think anybody says that.
Yeah.
But I just think if you feel it's not a bad choice, I don't think anybody ever asks for it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think they misunderstood what we said. I don't think anybody asks for the check, but I think it is always a thing that people could use.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we are going to answer some listener questions that people on social media wrote in for us to answer, all about dating. Okay, someone asked, would you have married someone that your mom did not approve of?
Would I have? No, actually. And I had a boyfriend, and my parents didn't approve, and I didn't marry him. No. I think knowing what I know today, I probably would have disregarded what my parents said. But in the 50s and 60s, you sort of had to listen to your parents. It was just what was the norm.
This is a hard one. How do you politely end a first date that you're not into?
I don't think you can.
You really can't. The thing is, you can shorten it a little. Like,
right.
Sometimes I've said, if someone's like, oh, should we get another round? I'll either say something like, you know what, I have an early morning tomorrow. So I would rather just get the check now if that's okay. I'm really sorry to like cut things short.
Right.
Or like,
and offer to pay. That's a perfect place to say, I'd love to split the bill with you. I feel very sad about ending our night so early. And then it gets you off a guilt trip.
Yeah, that's true, too. I never thought about that. But yeah, you can't just walk out in the middle of the day. Unfortunately, you have to stay probably at least 45 minutes to an hour. When is it appropriate to introduce a boyfriend to family, friends, or coworkers? Those are all 3 very different things.
I agree.
I would say friends come first.
Yeah, because you could just be dating and you'd like your friends to like him as well.
I do that actually before I'm boyfriend and girlfriend usually with someone. Like I like when I can see how are they with my friends or in social situations. Like, do I still gravitate toward them, or do my friends like them? Like that's important to me.
But I'm going to say something that's going to sound crazy. If you like someone and you take them to your friend group and they're not actually crazy about him or her, I would take it in as a grain of salt and not let it color you completely, because you're not going to probably see those same friends 15 years down the road. Sometimes they're coming with a different set of opinions.
Same thing
that
as the
might
last
color it.
question we
Exactly.
said.
Exactly.
Same thing. If you all hang out and he was white girl wasted on the floor,
Oh, well, that's bad.
then you listen to your friends when they say this is a problem.
Right.
But if they're like, I don't know, like he
Not
was on his
cute.
phone a lot, or
Right.
he's not as cute as your last boyfriend.
Exactly.
Like,
That
but
should-
everyone's smart. They know that not to listen to that stuff.
Okay.
East or west side? East
What,
side.
living?
Just like in general.
I like the west side, and I live on the east side. I
Oh.
don't think it matters. I think wherever, or it could be downtown.
Yeah, it's different uptown or downtown. I would always say upper east, and then for downtown, west, because I like West Village more than like East Village.
Oh, and I must honestly say, I don't think it matters. Wherever you live, there's so many cute neighborhoods in every area, certainly in Manhattan. I'm sure in every city and in every town, there's a good side and a bad side, not to worry.
What do you think of a guy who follows a lot of other women on Instagram?
I dump them.
Even if they're like people he doesn't know, like
No, there's something wrong with somebody who's trolling.
trolling is like,
Yes, they're looking around, and that's not, if he, and why would you know that anyway, unless he's telling you that?
you can see who someone follows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I could go to anyone's account and see who they're following.
Well, if they're following it after they've made a commitment to you.
Right,
He's allowed.
after, of
He's allowed
course.
or she's allowed to date whoever she wants and look at whatever pictures they want. But if they're saying, you know what, I think we're really a good fit, then he's still looking on the internet, there's something wrong.
Was your wedding large?
They're talking to me, I
Yeah,
guess.
well-
Yes, it was very large. It was very nice. It was beautiful. It was at the plaza. I was 21 years old. I didn't know what was going on. They let the pigeons fly out, or the doves, whatever they were, after the ceremony. It was so hammy, but it was beautiful, and it is something you do remember. But I think a lot of emphasis is sometimes placed on the wedding, and a little too much. If you can't afford a big wedding, there's nothing wrong with a small little private ceremony with family and a couple of friends. I don't go along with it anymore, because it's very expensive in today's world. So I think whatever you can feel comfortable doing, that's what you should do.
Someone asked where to eat in Venice because they're going in
Oh.
2023. I liked this restaurant, Daivo, and then
Daivo, that was wonderful.
and then also Harry's Bar.
Harry's Bar
is a
is
necessity.
still the best one. And then, there are loads of cute little restaurants all along the little streets, and you never get a bad bowl of pasta or a piece of fish. Venice is delicious food.
Prenup or no prenup?
Well, I think for me, if I had no big assets at the time you're marrying, then you don't need, from either side, you don't need a prenup. If somebody has something in their, they own a house, or they have a lot of stock in their own name that they've developed over the years, those things should be part of a prenup. But other than that, it's stuff that you had before you were together. After that, I don't think you should have restrictions. I'm not a big believer on that. But the truth is, every family is different, and it depends on each individual family. But when it gets too crazy, you better think twice about it.
How do you stay so energized, Grandma?
I don't know. I think that's just my roots. My mother was the same way, and so was my grandma. My grandma was in her 80s, and she was traveling around the world. So I think that's just something that comes with the genes.
And also, I guess, staying relevant, right? And doing
yeah.
things that...
And I like to know what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
I'm very big on that. I like to read the paper. I read the paper. I listen to the news. I don't want to be one of those people that's just sitting around doing nothing, talking about maybe their silly things like their card game, which now isn't so silly anymore, because now I take it very seriously if I lose a lot of money.
Someone asked, how can I date new people if I live in a small town where I already know everyone?
Well, that is hard. That is hard. But there, you might have to move away. It's not easy in a small town. But usually, the pluses on that is that you know people for who they are. There's some really, I'm sure, nice people in your town, and look a little deeper into who they are. They might really be the perfect person for you.
And maybe if there's like go to the nearest city, like I don't know how far that could be,
Well,
but
sometimes they're in a very rural area, so it's not so easy. But they certainly could take a weekend trip somewhere, I guess, to the closest
yeah,
place that
see if you fall in love.
I don't think it's an easy thing. I think if you live in a small town, you have to live with who's in your community. If you want to stay in that small town, if you want a different life, then that's a different story.
What is the longest you should date before moving on? So guessing like if it's not going forward, if you're not becoming exclusive.
Are they asking me or they're asking you?
I guess both of us.
Me? If after 3 months somebody says they're not serious and they really want to date seriously, and you feel the same way, you both have to feel the same way. I would say 4 months of dating somebody really on a steady basis, not once every 3 weeks. Or
right.
Once,
that's what I was going to say.
Another thing, somebody might not live in the same city as you, and they come in infrequently, and you really like them, so you can't judge that on a time basis. But you know when you've had enough dating and you want to go to the next step, and it has to be mutual.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say. It's less about timing because everyone does have a different pace, right, and more about how like deep it's gotten, like how quick and like when you're going to have those conversations. Like if you're obsessed with someone and you've been spending every day together for a few weeks, I would say that's enough time to have that conversation of where is this going?
Or do you want to just be exclusive? I think you have to go, in other words, now you're not going to see anybody anymore. And then once you're not seeing any more of anybody else, and depending on your age, we're not talking about 21-year-olds. I think then the next step is, after a few months, you should move in together. And that I would not make a prolonged period. I mean, 6 months of living together is more than enough to know if this is marriage material, and to see if both people really want to get married. That's timing in life is everything, as we've discussed very often. And you can't live indefinitely with somebody until they're ready. So if they have no idea of where the next step should be, you might have to step back.
So someone said, if you know a guy is not the one, but you are having a lot of fun, should you keep going or move on? Well, why is he not the one if you're having fun?
Exactly.
Unless maybe he's like,
well, maybe
unemployed and not,
or they might not have a sexual link.
Yeah, but if they're having a lot of fun,
well, fun doesn't mean sex. Have you had good sex? If you've had good sex and you're having fun, that's your 90% home.
Yeah. I would, I guess, maybe revalue what you envision of the one. Exactly. Because, like, why are they not
the one?
Okay, someone said, should you always tell someone if you like them? How do you get over the anxiousness?
Oh, I think that's a conversation that has to almost come about naturally. I mean, if you're seeing somebody for a long time, I don't mean a long time, let's say 7, 8, 9 dates, and you're also perhaps having a sexual moment with them as well, I think you have to look at each other and say, I guess I really like you. But it has to be a mutual liking.
That's the thing. So let's say they're not even dating. Like, what if it's like a friend or a coworker, but you like them and you're just like nervous to tell them? Or it's like maybe they're in high school and it's not just like that and they're just, friends or friends with benefits. I think it's going to eat you alive if you don't say it, but you have to be really careful about how you say it. Like, you can't just be like, I've been in love with you this whole time. No. But like kind of test the waters, maybe like have some sort of conversation being like.
And if he's resistant or she's resistant, I would step back and then reevaluate your thinking.
Yeah, you can't force somebody, but like
you both have to be ready at the right time.
But you won't know if someone's ready unless you have that conversation.
Or unless somebody, listen, I would say that I remember in the old days, people would say, I really am crazy about you. That's your entry. If you're not crazy about him, then you have to walk away if you don't feel the same way. So I think it's not a one-way street. Usually both of you have feelings. And if you both are not on the same page, then the one person who's not has to step back. No, we've covered, Kim. We've covered walking through the city. We've covered theater. We've covered, what else have we covered today?
A lot of dating topics.
Dating topics, dressing, what I'm wearing over the weekend. So I think everybody has a full circle of what we've been up to the last week. And I'm hoping this week in January, you're not too cold, everybody. I know it's getting a little frosty up here. But we haven't had any real snowstorms in New York. And so I think the winter is actually milder. I'm hoping that we miss all that snow from California. And everybody just go out and have fun and walk in your neighborhoods and enjoy yourselves.
And that was another great episode of Excuse My Grandma. You know how to follow us. We're Excuse My Grandma on Instagram, TikTok. Share this with your friends, please. It helps us a lot. Rate us 5 stars if you haven't already. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.